Epic Gaming Night is made possible by the support of patrons like you. Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I'm host Roy Cannon, and with me as always is Rob.
Oh, you went me first. Okay. Oh, it's because Matt.
And Matt's chair.
And Matt's chair.
The chair's back.
The chair.
The chair has been occupied. What up, what up, what up?
The other way, because I was going to do the triumphant walk-in. And I was just like, oh, wait, they can't see it.
Well, I just got back from Cmon Expo, and Rob was there for a while.
I was there for about a day.
Matt is offended by the fact that it's now called Come On, though.
Is it really called Come On?
They want to be called. They no longer. So first they were Cool Mini or Not. Then they changed their name to Cmon, and everybody was calling them Cmon. Now they officially want to be called Come On, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it.
I don't. Yeah, they'll always be Cmon to me.
Have they added an apostrophe at all?
I think I was talking to like their media guy, and he was saying that he wants to add an apostrophe to make it
Come on,
to remember.
Come on, man.
That really sells it, because one is, one way, and the other is very much something different.
Nice.
I don't know.
I
I don't know what's wrong with Cool Mini or Not. Like, it's only 5 syllables long. If they're worried about the length of it, you got Fantasy Flight Games, and they're, 5, 6 syllables in that, and they do just fine.
Asmodee North America.
I mean, what even is an Asmodee? Come on.
Cool.
Come on. But I mean, I feel like brand recognition is like the most important part, and when you're changing up your brand name, that makes brand recognition harder, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like it really doesn't matter what your name is as long as it's recognizable. You know? Come on,
100%.
guys. Anyway, so hey, I drove to Atlanta from South Florida on Thursday. I mean, it's only like 10, 11, 12. I mean, it really depends on the amount of bathroom break drive. But when you got two youngins and a wife, we stop and we get food and try to survive the long drive up from South Florida. But it was good,
Yes,
good stuff.
I make that long drive. It's about 14 and a half hours for us to Arkansas. So
Oh yeah,
I know your pain.
Yeah. I'm sure. How long did it take you to drive there from North Carolina, Rob?
Oh, to Atlanta, it took me about 5 hours. It would have taken me about 4.5 hours, but it actually took me closer to 6 because I left in the middle of the night, and they decided to shut down the interstate and start construction. And the interstate was literally shut down, where they have like those trucks where you follow the truck and like every 100 cars and they stop you.
Oh, yeah.
And so that literally was going on I-85 around like between 12 and 1:30 in the morning. I remember just
that stinks.
creeping. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to stop right here.
Straight up creeper.
Straight up creeper, man.
Oh, man.
But anyway.
But yeah,
So,
I don't have a whole lot
too
of other
terrible.
news. I have a couple things that I could talk about that I did with my interviews at Cmon Expo. I have to say it like that now. But other than that,
We could save that for the show, though, right?
yeah, because we're going to talk about what we did there and stuff.
Yeah.
Is there any-
Matt probably had the best weekend out of all of us.
Yeah. It was a good weekend.
And
was it an awesome weekend?
I'm very jealous of Matt's weekend. Very jealous. I'm very jealous of Matt's weekend. So
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
no,
what
it's all right,
happened.
man. I'm glad. Did you get to play brass?
No, we didn't play brass because I had mentioned Kent basically got a stack of games that I had mentioned wanting to play on the podcast 2 weeks ago when we did it.
Mhm.
And that was what was there. And then Mark had brought some games. And we were just like, okay, cool. And then Kent was like, you can go upstairs and look through any other games if you want to play any of those. So I was just like, yeah. And I was just looking through and I like passed over Brass. And then I was just like, cool. And it like registered on me, but it didn't really.
We'll play Brass at Dice Tower Con.
Yeah, for sure.
Bro, you realize in a month is when it starts. It starts July 3rd.
That's great.
Good times.
It's very exciting.
Dice Tower is right around the corner.
Right around the corner. Hey, real quick, I know, Matt. I know, Roy, you've got one. I believe, Matt, you've got one of these. Maybe not this company. So one of the things that's very annoying to me is carrying all these board games, and I want to get a good luggage solution. And the Game Canopy, they've got about a day left on this Kickstarter, and the Game Canopy, they're the same group that actually partnered with the Dice Tower.
I mean,
and
mine
they
is
did
like
their
right
Dice
here.
Tower bags. Yeah. So, Matt, do you also have them? And Roy, how do you like yours? My big thing is like when I went to Atlanta, and I know we'll get into it, but I carried so much Song of Ice and Fire stuff where it was just like, I need a better carrying solution than just like a big gym bag. So what do you guys think? What do you guys in chat use? How do you like that, Roy?
I've been using it for a while. I like it. It holds a lot of stuff, especially like if you're doing like the traditional size or like a little bit bigger, like Blood Rage and all that stuff. Like it fits a stack of those in there, and I think it fits pretty good. My thing is that I mean I got this as part of the Dice Tower or whatever, so I didn't actually pay any money for it. So my thing is they are quite expensive. So
Yeah, they're not cheap.
they're definitely extremely good quality, and I like it. And you can throw it around and do whatever with it, and it's got all sorts of like rings on it and things. But you can get a cajon bag. Is that what you have, Matt?
Yeah, man, I got this cajon bag.
Yeah, you can get cajon bags for like
10,
way
$20
less money. So
Hey, Matt, will you text me the link or the name of that or whatever? Because I'm looking at getting something. But the other thing is, like, I either want to back the Kickstarter, but part of me is like, why don't I just wait for the Dice Tower raffle? Because I imagine they'll have some more. The Tom Vassal, the silent auction. I mean, not the raffle.
yeah, I'm not sure. So
Well, they had a few last year,
well,
and
maybe,
if they're pushing it on the Game Canopy, because like on their Kickstarter thing, they're like, it's so good the Dice Tower even put their name on it,
yeah.
and so it's, it looks great. I was looking.
Micah, it does fit Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. Like, it'll fit, like, 2 of the boxes, but that's, like, literally all you can fit in there. Because that box
Those
is
boxes are huge,
big.
though.
But I fit, like, 2 of the boxes. You have to, like, stand them up. It won't sit in there, like, the same way, like, flat down. But if I stand them up and put them in there, I can fit them in there and then, like, shove the play mat up in there, too. I think one year when I went to Dice Tower, that's, like, all I took was Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea with the play mat in the Game Canopy. And I just carried that around. Because, I mean, I didn't need any other games,
Yeah, we need to coordinate who's bringing what games. Because last year I brought like 57 games and I played 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So that needs to... I know Adam won't be bringing any... Or I don't imagine he will bring anything big because he's flying in. And Jordan, if he's still coming, he's flying in from Hawaii. So I imagine he's only bringing socks and underwear. Because I can't imagine him bringing any more than just clothing.
Yeah.
Well, plus the game library there is pretty awesome too.
Yeah, I wish I knew what... Because it's kind of a different library than Tom's library that they use for that con specifically. So I wish I knew exactly what was in it as easily. Because then I could be like,
Oh, man. You remember that big game of Game of Thrones that I played last year?
Yeah.
The guy texted me today. He's like, hey, man, you going to Dice Tower Con? We're getting our people together.
Dude, that's awesome.
I was like, yes. Well, here's the funny thing is I saved his number because I talked to him for like a couple months after the thing, and we talked when the new expansion came out.
What did he say about the new expansion? He's like, hacks.
Oh, I think it's going to be in the game because he was talking about having the big 8-player with the expansion.
Oh, cool. So they integrated that into their whole craziness?
Well, I don't know. I don't know yet. And so we'll see. But because the game that we played last year, they made their own expansions. Like this guy from Canada wrote up all these rules and stuff like that, and it was really amazing what they had last year. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get that game and to play that game. So well, I appreciate you guys, Game Canopy. I'll probably skip. I see a lot of people in chat are talking about BoardGameTables.com has a nice bag and
There's
stuff like that.
lots of options. The Game Canopy's cool, but I don't think I'd be able to afford one.
Well, I was gonna back that other game, but I ended up buying something else. So
Snap.
it was not a game, but it was
Substantial.
epically amazing, and I'm super excited for it.
Oh, snap.
Got concert tickets, man.
Oh, hey.
Yeah,
Nice. Taylor Swift.
Oof.
bro. First of all, it's Tay Tay.
And 100% yes. No.
No, I'm not. I'm not. You know, kind of music I like. I like that classical. I like that soundtrack type of stuff. And the guy, actually, Roy, you like the music for Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
So the guy, his name, who does that music, his name is Ramin Djawadi.
Okay.
He's doing 20 shows across Canada and North America. And one of his shows is actually coming to Raleigh. And so I got good tickets. So my wife and I are going for my birthday in September. And so I'm pretty excited. Like, to a lot of people are like, oh, that's really boring, but we're literally going to see an orchestra play for like 2+ hours, and I cannot tell you how excited I am.
That's
like
awesome.
I told my wife, I was like, look, no pictures of me crying. And I was very serious. Because like that music, it just gets me. I love that music. Just classical music in general. Well, like whenever we play together, you guys know my playlist. Like I'm putting it on, and we'll even do that game. Oh, that's this song, and that's yeah. So anyway.
So since we've talked last, if I want,
Yeah.
we want to talk about what we've been playing, I actually got a chance to play a game of Twilight Imperium 4
For your birthday.
for
Happy
my
birthday.
birthday with
How old are you?
Samuel Healy. I am now 33.
Wow.
I'm almost dead.
You made it.
You're so old.
So old.
Yeah.
I'm ancient.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty fun. It was interesting because normally I have these things planned out and make sure I know who's coming and make sure everything's in place. Well, I tried to plan it at my house, and they're like, no, that's when the game day is at Cool Stuff. I'm like, cool, I can do it at Cool Stuff. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna do it at Cool Stuff, and everybody's like, cool, we'll do it at Cool Stuff. Well, one of the guys got sick and couldn't come. The other guy had to study and ended up saying he was going to be like an hour late after we had already set everything up. And he ended up being like way more than an hour late. And I'm like, come on, man, you're messing this up. But since we're at Cool Stuff, we're able to find a couple other guys to play the game. So I taught random people to come in and sit down. One was actually Sam's son, so it wasn't that random. But then another guy was just hanging around, and I'm like, hey, want to play Twilight Imperium? He's like, let's do this. I mean, normally you don't get that to happen, you know?
Yeah.
It's really hard to just talk somebody into sitting down and playing Twilight Imperium. But it was a lot of fun, and we had a blast playing. It was definitely an interesting game compared to other ones because we had 2 new people, and it was an interesting dynamic, but I still had a lot of fun.
What made it interesting?
The fact that, like, sometimes you're supposed to do certain things to try to keep people away from getting points, and they weren't really being done, so they just kind of, like, let the one new guy win. But it was still made the game faster. So, and that it was another one of those things. I got publicly executed. It's not nearly as bad. It's not nearly as bad in 4th edition as it is in 3rd edition. Ugh. 3rd edition is way worse. But it's the same card. It has the same title. It does some similar stuff, but man, it was way more brutal in 3rd edition than it is in 4th.
Was it also more brutal because it was us?
No, it's more brutal because it taps all your planets, and you could do it at the beginning of the round. This was just like, oh, they have to discard all their action cards, and they lose something. I also had my flagship and a destroyer like get sucked into a wormhole. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, that the cards hated me, but I still had fun. So and it was cool to teach new people the game, and it only took us 4 hours to play the whole game, which is
That's
insane.
actually a fast game.
It was an extremely fast game. Could have been because some people let somebody win, but it was still fun. So I couldn't stop. I was like, dude, I wish I could stop you. Like, I'm going to kill your people on Mechatol Rex anyway, which I did. I proceeded to blow all his guys up, but couldn't stop him from winning the game. But it was fun. It was one of those things where
I'm so sorry that happened to you, man.
I got the War Sun on the very last turn of the game and didn't have enough to actually move it to do anything. I'm like, I can move it close to your stuff. And that's where it sits, and then the game ends. That's normally how Twilight Imperium works, right? You get the War Sun, then the game's over. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really like Twilight Imperium. I think I'm good with liking Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea better. Is that bad? It's hard to compare them, but it's just so much easier to get that Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea to the table.
It is a lot easier. I mean, you're playing a big 4X game in 2 hours, which makes it, a lot more appealing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get that.
Good
I get that.
times.
Hey, are you going to talk about another game or here? How about this? What I'm getting at is Zombicide Invader.
Oh yeah.
Are you going to talk about that later, or?
I mean, it doesn't matter. If we want to talk about what we did at Cmon Expo, I'm just gonna say it like that every time.
Don't forget to bring us out.
Family friendly, Matt.
I just want to try and enforce the tagline for their new brand.
Ugh.
Anywho.
Love it.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, I can talk about that game and how that went later.
Okay. All right. So Matt, what did you do this weekend?
I went to the wonderful Kim Parker's house and played a bunch of games with him and his wife Courtney and Mark Hale.
Isn't Courtney the best?
Yeah, we had a good old time. I got to meet their dogs and their youngest son. All adorable.
Peter Parker?
Yeah.
That's Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's great. But we played a bunch of games. We played some bigger games, some shorter games. But all things considered, is pretty good. We played Wingspan, just because it's a good game.
I don't even want to play that now.
It's a good.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's a good game. I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, you have to play this game. It's the pinnacle of engine building.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a good game and it is solid. And the thing is, you can get a lot of that same feel that you get from a Terraforming Mars or an engine building that way in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And the game goes by so fast, you're eventually sitting there at the end of it going, man, if I just had another round or two, I feel like I could be doing a whole lot better. Which I feel like is just a sign of good game design, where when you get to the end of it, you're like, man, what do I want to do? Play that again,
I mean, yeah, you keep talking about it, which is not a bad thing. I don't care about flying birds. I don't give a flying rip. Now, if it's flying birds flying over a volcano and seeing if you don't get hit by a magma and stuff like that, that'd be cool. But
well,
that's in the magma expansion.
All right, because then that's when your wingspan matters. You need that tight little small. You need that hummingbird, bro. Now the problem with the hummingbird is the trip takes 10 times as long because it's a small hummingbird. However, though, the chances for it to get hit are really low, but you have to roll a lot more because it takes a lot longer time. Yeah. So
I mean, there is an expansion coming out, and I joked that I think they should make a Alfred Hitchcock The Birds expansion where you get to the end game phase and you're trying to pick up people with your newfound swarm of birds. I don't know, even the theme mode, even if you don't like birds, I think the game plays in such a short time that you're literally just trying to make an engine, and then you'll draw a card and you'll go, oh, that's a neat power, and you go, oh, it's kind of a neat bird because the artwork on it is gorgeous. and you'll be like, oh, this thing's weird looking, and then there's like a little blurb or a fact at the bottom if you wanted to read it, and if you don't, whatever. It does a thing. You put it out.
I mean, I'll play with you guys because it's you, Kent, and Courtney. Like, you guys are great. I've, so I'm not worried about. I just want you guys to know when we play it, I'm only playing it because of you. Like the theme does absolutely nothing for me. I'm playing because my friends like the game, and it'll be like one of those like, hey, I played it.
Yeah.
Like Root. Like, okay, I played it.
Yeah. We also played Underwater Cities,
nice.
which was interesting. I want to play it again. I got destroyed. That game is very limiting in how you can build your engine, and it took me a while to sort of grasp how little you can do. Because you just run out of resources so often. But it's a really interesting worker placement game. And I would definitely want to play it again. I don't know if it's, for me right now, one of those games that I would want to go out and buy, because I feel like I like Terraforming Mars a little bit better. But again, that was only my first time playing, and I was still trying to learn and grasp everything. But it was a good game. It was good fun. I loved building up your little underwater city and watching it grow and sort of being like, yeah, I'm doing something. That was super neat. But yeah, I felt like there were a couple of ways that they could improve on it a bit, but not too bad. Then we played a game called Crown of Amara, which was a very, worker placement Euro-y type game. But it had a really cool movement mechanic, and it kind of reminded me of Istanbul almost, except for you have two circles and you move clockwise around the circle, and then each quadrant of the circle has something that you can do, and you're very restricted in how you move. It was a super neat, fun little game. I would probably play it again. I don't know if it would be y'all's style of game or not, but it was pretty cool. But then the big game that I had a lot of fun with, we played Great Western Trail with the expansion Northern Rails, and it was pretty awesome. Like the expansion adds like a whole new sort of top board leaflet, and you get a bunch of houses and stuff that you can add, and there's like a whole new upper rail system that you can go through and explore.
Oh, nice.
And it adds enough to the game that you feel like there's a lot there for your dollar amount, but it doesn't really increase the complexity of the game too much. It's literally just like, hey, if you know the game, here are some rules. You can now do this. You can build houses. There are more stations. Have fun. And that's it. And it doesn't add anything that congests that end how Euro games typically end, where they're like, all right, guys, let's spend the next 5 minutes tallying up points. It doesn't add anything additional to how the points tally up. So it's still a very quick wrap up at the end. And I thought it was really interesting that it's an expansion that adds a lot of stuff that you can do that has sort of a lot more, depth to it than the base game, but without adding a whole lot of complexity or anything else.
Oh, nice.
So, it was good. Yeah.
I like it.
It was good.
All right.
Nice.
All right. Well, what, Roy?
Do we want to talk about the stuff we played at the expo, or did you have other things that you played?
I only played one thing, man.
Well, we can talk about that. I heard that it went great.
It went terrible, but I had a blast. I had a blast playing it. I could not roll to save my life.
That seems to happen in miniatures games.
When I'm playing with just friends, when I'm playing against you or other things like that, not in tournaments, I do really well. I win. I'd say I probably have a 70-30 win rate. I do really good, but for some reason, so I went to Cmon Expo. I really just went for two things. One, I went for the swag bag, because it had another free copy of the Starks and Lannister starter set. And then I went for the tournament / the announcements, which I'm very excited for the announcements. I did get to hear that press conference. There's a lot of good things coming in the game this year, actually, that I'm really excited for.
I edited my interview with the designer today.
With Michael?
Yeah.
Oh, so did you talk about A Song of Ice and Fire? Did you talk about
that's what I basically we just sat down and like went over all of the Song of Ice and Fire stuff or whatever.
Yes, super excited. I'll spoil this. They did announce the Baratheons and the Targaryens are both coming out this year. But the Targaryens, there will be dragons, yes, in the future. But this starter pack that's coming out, it's based off of when Dany first became Khaleesi, so it's Dothraki. It's the first starter set to come out with all cavalry.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. It's going to be very cavalry-heavy starter set.
Yeah. And so I went for the swag bag, and I went for the tournament, and I went for that. And the very first game of the tournament I played, by the end of round 3, I had lost 3 complete trays to panic tests.
Dang. And that's the worst, too. It's like, oh, they attack you and killed a dude. Now roll the test, and then your guys just fall over and run away.
Yeah, my guys literally just kept running away. And the second game I did better, but I couldn't get the dice rolls to play. And also one thing that they did weird at the tournament that I've never done before, they did different game modes every single time. And they rolled a dice, and whatever dice that was, that's the game mode you were playing. Well, I've only ever played outside of the Cmon tournament, the Clash of Kings, which is a very basic one, because I've been teaching other people. Like, I either played with you, or I played with Travis, or I played with people from my church. And so it's like, okay, like when I played with Roy, we played the base one. When I played with Travis, we played the base one. And then I'll play with these guys from church. It's like, all right, let me teach you guys how to play the game. And so I had never played any of these other scenarios before. And some of them were kind of cool. Some of them were really weird. We got the rules mixed up on one of them, and it really hurt me. 2, because it had to do with the dead bodies. And the guy, when you do your panic tests, for any time you're near a corpse pile, you get a -1 to your roll. Well, I was at one point near multiple corpse piles, so the way that we had figured it is, all right, it's -1 per corpse pile, when it's really just -1 in total because they don't stack.
Yeah.
And that was also the game where by the end of round 3 I'd lost. Because the thing about the corpse pile is if you're near a corpse pile, when you activate a unit on that game mode, you just by activating a unit within short range of a corpse pile, you automatically have to do a panic test.
Wow, that's rough.
So you don't even have to get attacked. Yeah. And
so your guys are just running away left and right.
My guys are running away without even getting attacked.
Based off of dice rolls. Ugh, gross.
Yeah, because the Lannister stuff, their anti-morale stuff is good if you're attacked. All right, hey, if you're attacked after dice rolled, do +1 to defense dice and +1 to morale.
But they don't necessarily have the best morale anyway because they're like hired hands for the most part.
But then it just makes it worse because I can't play a card to boost it. Yeah. It's just because I activated. It's just because I sort of activated, and so it was rough. It was. I try to have a good attitude, and I did have a good attitude. You know, I never got mad at anybody or anything like that. But like, I don't like when I'm losing at a game, and I don't feel like it's my fault, right? And I don't feel like the other players. I mean, yes, they beat me, but I don't feel like they were that much better than me. I just felt like the game, the dice rolling. But that is war. I mean, sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. But I still love it. I ended up buying a bunch of stuff. And I don't know if you saw my pictures on Instagram, but I've got like a whole big set. And, also, so I had the United States Customs Department call me today.
Perfect.
Sir, you have several large boxes coming your way from Poland. We just need to confirm the contents that are in these boxes. Did you order a board game, sir? Yes, I think so. I mean, yes, I've ordered board games. Legendary, Joan of Arc. Oh, yeah. Sir, is there anything hazardous, chemical, or anything like that? We can't really get a good read on these board boxes. I said, ma'am. I said, it's a lot of plastic and paper and then like a really thick cardboard, for the game mats and stuff like that. But I don't know of any chemicals or anything like that. All right, so we just needed to confirm. that we'll go ahead and send it through customs, and you should have your package this week. So I'm like, sweet.
That's
so.
Awesome.
But that was kind of weird to have the United States government call me about a board game that I'm getting in, and I'll still have that in before Lords of Hellas, which who cares now?
They're like, hey, we just want to confirm that you're a huge nerd. Are you a huge nerd? Is this a
I
board
am.
game?
Yeah.
You're like, yes, ma'am, I am. That's me with the board game.
Ma'am, if you think that delivery is big, wait till the one comes in the fall. That comes with all the expansion stuff.
There are 3 pallets here. Who orders 3 pallets of board games? Stop shaming me, ma'am.
Ma'am, that's all one game, actually. All of that is for one game. But I'm excited because a lot of people on
they're like, we're opening these up. We don't believe you.
A lot of people on the Cmon website also back Joan of Arc, and so they're using that dragon as like Drogon.
Oh, crazy!
And they're starting to paint. And somebody today posted pictures on the Facebook group showing the size of the dragon compared to the Lannister troops and stuff like that. And I mean, he's a good sized dragon. It fits really well. And so I'm really excited to paint him up like Drogon and get some games in. So, but that's what I played. That's all I went for. To some of the questions in the chat, the swag bag had the 13th clue. It had Potion Explosion. It had the starter set of the Starks versus Lannisters. Then it had promos in there for Rising Sun, promos in there for Zombie Side, promos in there for Gizmos, and then a couple of other small little promos stuff. Massive Darkness, that's right, Massive Darkness, and I think maybe 1 or 2 other things. But it was those were the 3 games. Was Potion Explosion.
It had a promo for Song of Ice and Fire too. I'm not sure what that guy is.
Yeah, but he doesn't do anything. It's literally a picture. He doesn't do anything. It's a picture of George R. R. Martin, and if you read his card, it says he costs 0 points. He can never be played. He can never be activated. But what you do with that player, what you do with that guy, is whoever chooses him, when you play with him, according to that card, the other player can't talk about how they lost. Only the winner can say how they won or lost because they're the winner and they get to write the history of the game. So it's just like a funny, cute little.
Gotcha. So it doesn't really have any actual game.
Yeah, it's literally George R. R. Martin in a Grandmeister uniform.
Nice.
So
I actually played 13 Clues. I had played it before. I played it at last Cmon Expo, but I actually played a game with Scotty and my mom. I played 2 different games. First one I played just me versus Scotty, and then the second one I played me and Scotty and my mom. It's actually a cool little deduction game. It's not a social deduction game at all because you're not like doing anything where there's a trade or anything, but it is a game where we're asking each other a bunch of questions. It's pretty fun. Have you looked at it at all, Rob?
Still in Shrink.
So basically, it's kind of Clue if the only thing is just like guessing. It's kind of like Guess Who mixed with Clue almost. You each have there's a person, a location, and a weapon, and you each have that on the front of your board, and then you have cards behind your board, and then you have cards that are like face down depending on the number of players. And on your turn, you can either A, ask a player a question like how many purple cards do you see, or how many indoor locations do you see, or how many melee weapons do you see, or you can look at one of the face down cards, and based off the questions they ask you and based off the questions you ask them, you have like a checklist thing, and you're trying to narrow down the person, the place, and the weapon that your thing is. Your other option is you can guess that, but if you guess a person, place, or weapon, if you guess those 3 things, they're going to know 100% those are not on the front of their board, so you're going to be definitely giving them the clues for that. But yeah, it's basically like Clue and Guess Who. But yeah, I like it a lot as far as like a light little deduction game, and it's fun, especially when you have a bunch of players all trying to figure out what's what, because it's like multiplayer Clue.
Yeah,
my mom liked it too, so that was cool.
All right, well, let's get to the good stuff.
The good stuff.
Let's get to Zombie Side, Invader, man.
Cool. Well, I played a game called Kick ASS from Cmon. No, I'm just kidding. I did play that game. I played with Richard Lanius, and it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, but I hate the theme.
Why?
Basically, it is
right?
It's based off of the movie, but based off the comics. But like the theme is like gritty, dark sort of superheroes, and it's actually a really good cooperative game. Like the game itself was a lot of fun. Like working together to go to these different locations, and you have to manage your social life and stuff like that. But like, there's a lot of curse words in the game, like on the cards, and like the bad guys' names are like curse words and stuff like that. It's just kind of like, well, you could never really play this like with certain people, or you couldn't really play it with your kids or anything like that. And it's a good cooperative game, and I'm like, man, if they had put like any other theme on this, it would be a lot of fun. But it's cool because you had to like manage the happiness of your hero and try to like build up your social media presence at the same time. And
yeah, because that's what they did in the second movie.
And fight off the bad guys so they didn't take over the town. I had a copy of this, and I never actually ended up playing it. Like, I actually gave it away without playing the game. But I played it with Richard Lanius, which is the designer of Arkham Horror and a bunch of other games. So he always makes games fun anyway because he adds the theme and the flavor and gets real excited about stuff. But it was a lot of fun. But literally we all said, wow, this game is actually a lot better than we thought it would be. It was a lot of fun. We hate the theme. Like, why does it have to be like this? You know? Like, honestly, if they even kept the theme and just didn't have it as mature
Vulgar.
rated, you know?
Yeah.
You know, exactly. Anyway, back to Zombicide. I think that's what Rob actually wanted me to talk about. I played Zombicide Invader. I had seen the guys play this on the live stream, but me and Sam got a chance to play. Sam already knew the rules, and we decided to play a medium scenario since he had already played all of the easy scenarios in the book and said, oh, they were all pretty easy, so let's play a medium one. So we played a, I guess, 6-player game. I think you always play with the same number of characters or something like that. But anyway.
If you don't have enough players, then players play with extra characters.
So we played with 6, and then we could each play one character. But basically, yeah, it's very Zombicide-ish. You're trying to complete different objectives. We had to try to rescue scientists, and there were 3 mold spawn places in these different areas. And you had to, that's basically like the spawn points for the zombies, kind of like the same way you have spawn points in other Zombicides. But we had to like go and save one scientist, then go and get the other scientist, and then get to the exit to win the game. Interesting things about this game is there are, if you have basically like guns, you can't shoot the guns if you're outside of a building because I guess the guns don't fire in space or when there's no oxygen or something like that. So you have to actually have different things like that. You have to have like laser weapons to be able to fire those outside. So you can have guns, but you can only use them inside. You can also only search for things inside, which I guess is probably normal for Zombicide. You have characters that are like Space Marines, which are probably a little bit tougher, but they can only search in like the red like weapons rooms. But then you have like the other characters, which are just like, I don't know what they're called. If they're just called like, I don't know if they're supposed to be like scientist type characters or more just like regular people type characters. But they can search anywhere to try to get items. There is like a big robot that just starts on the board, and one of the characters can like remotely control the robot and move it around. The robot's really cool because it'll like, you can shoot with it and do damage with it and stuff, but it's very fragile. So if the Xenos or zombie dudes or whatever get to it, they can blow it up real easy. So you have to make sure it doesn't get damaged. But if you just leave it and don't activate it for a turn, the zombies will walk by it and ignore it. But if you activate it, then they'll fight it. Yeah, it's very much like Zombicide. The only difference is they also added a focus fire rule. So now you can...
What about the stuff that grows, though?
Oh, yes. The Abomination now, it can... when the Abomination comes out, each space it moves into, it puts the mold thing on there. And then there's a lot of cards that'll be like, hey, spawn these runner guys on each mold space. So the more mold spaces there are, it'll have a whole bunch of them out there. So those can grow faster, but there's a focus fire rule that was added to the game where you can use multiple like if you have 2 weapons that you can use at the same time, or you can have all of your dice from a single attack be able to focus on one enemy. So it allows you to be able to take out things you wouldn't normally be able to take out in regular Zombicide games. Like say you had a weapon that would only do 1 damage, but it would do 3 attacks. And say you need to kill an Abomination. It hits on a 5+. You can roll the die, and if you hit on 5+ on all 3 dice, you would be able to do 3 damage to it and actually take out an abomination. So it's very different than regular Zombicide because you have to have a weapon,
level 3 weapon,
a level 3 weapon to be able to damage those at all. Well, this game it doesn't like have where you have to have like the specific cocktail fire thing to blow up the abomination. This one you just have to have strong enough weapons to be able to do it. You can still get like level 2 weapons to be able to do damage to stuff, but there are like boss guys that are like 2 hit points, but you can focus fire on them. You just have to hit with multiple dice of the same thing to be able to damage it. So it's actually Sam was saying it feels a lot easier. I mean, this is just the core set, just the base game, not adding in any of the other stuff. Like, I'm sure there's going to be mountains of things that came with that Kickstarter. Did you go like hard on that Kickstarter, Rob, or?
Yeah, hold on one second. My daughter's walking down here and she's about to get in trouble. She just doesn't realize it yet. Hold on.
Oh, no.
Cool. But yeah, it's very much has that same Zombicide thing of like, hey, it's just button mashing, hack and slash. There's zombies that just keep spawning, and you have to try to keep the way clear. You have to keep the way clear so that way you can blow up. You can go and do the objectives and like get out or whatever. But yeah, it wasn't. We didn't have too much of a hard time with it, and this was a medium one. Sam's really worried that the game with that whole team up ability makes the game too easy overall. But I guess we'll see when you add the expansion stuff into it.
Yeah.
Because we killed, I think Abomination came out like 3 times or something like that. Maybe there's more Abomination cards in the deck too. But we had Abomination come out multiple times, and we killed it multiple times by doing the focus fire thing. Like there was a whole bunch of like, what's the boss? Like there's boss guys or whatever. They're not like as big as the Abomination, but they're like they take 2 hits to kill. There were like 4 of them on one space, and I had.
You're talking about fatties?
Yes, there are 4 fatties in one space, and I went in there and rolled dice and killed all of them in like one roll because I had a level 2 weapon and hit with like 4 of them, so I killed 4 fatties at the same time. So we were able to handily beat it. Sam's worried about it being too easy with that rule change, but I feel like the expansion stuff, or not just the expansion stuff, the stuff that they add in with all the crazy Kickstarter pledge, extra exclusive add-on stuff. I'm sure that will change the difficulty and ramp it back up to where it's like super difficult again. But I mean, I had fun. I mean, it's pretty much like it's one of those games where it's pretty obvious what you do each turn. Like, okay, cool, yeah, I go over there and roll some dice and kill the bad guys. But it's fun. It's a fun cooperative game where you just get to do the Zombicide thing, you know. I think I like it better than Black Plague. Is that weird to say?
Why?
I mean, I like the Black Plague theme too, but I think the fact of like when an Abomination comes out, it's going to be hard to kill because you have to hit with all of your dice, and you could waste your entire turn just rolling and rolling and rolling and missing and missing and missing. But if you're focusing on it, and like multiple people are attacking it, hopefully somebody can get enough hits to knock it out. Other times in the other Zombicide games, it's just like if the Abomination came out, you just had to run away. Like there was literally nothing you could do about it.
Yeah, would you ever play Black Plague with the Trebuchet?
No, I hadn't played it with that. Like that's the expansion stuff, right?
Yeah, it's one of the expansions. What's cool about the Trebuchet is in certain maps, it tells you where to put it.
Yeah.
And it has like multiple shots. It has like a scatter shot, a direct shot, or like, or maybe just 2. Maybe it's just scatter and direct. And it can kill a Abomination, but you have to roll like a 5 or 6, or you miss. And I think it takes like 2 turns to do that shot or something like you can only do that shot like once per round or something like that. But anyway, I think Black Plague is fun. I think what Zombicide Invader is going to do for me is probably replace a little bit of like the Zombicide Season 1, 2, and 3, which I won't get rid of that stuff just because I have so many of the characters and I think they're really, really cool. But I'm excited. With every new edition, there's always a new rule tweaking or new something where it just feels like they're getting it better. And so I'm excited now for like what you were talking about, the focus fire and stuff like that. But Zombicide, I just love it because it's one of those you don't have to think a lot. It's simple, it's easy, we have to complete these objectives, do it and win. And The way that I typically play, especially with people that I've played with before, is I never listen to what I should be doing. And so, like, when all the zombies are coming and you want to stay together, I will run off to go get that one shiny thing, and I'll get trapped or cut off and, like, die or something like that. But it's just fun because it's like, Rob, quit, Anyway,
so you do exactly what you complained about Ryan doing in that one game. Okay, I see.
In zombie side, I will, because I don't care, right? Like Mansions of Madness, I want to win. Mansions of Madness, like, to me, it's serious. Like, to me, Mansions of Madness is more serious, and you do have to work together as a team to win Mansions of Madness. Zombie side, it's literally a button smasher. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna run over here.
Did you guys switch names?
No.
No, my Skype decided to close.
Cool.
Well, I'm Matt. Hello, everybody. My name's Matt.
I'm fixing
it. Sexy. I'm young. I'm under 30. I love cheese. I like walks. I like talking to people. And
you're Rob again.
I'm Rob. Okay. Hey, everybody. My daughter, she's not in trouble. I love her to death. She's great. My kids are great. I do have, like, the best kids in the world. But anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Glad you liked it. So,
for me, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Zombicide is like my game.
No, it's not.
So, yeah, I mean, overall,
that's rude. But if I was playing Zombicide, I would not invite you over.
I'm just like, meh.
Yeah, I wouldn't invite you over because of that.
Because I'd just be like, okay, yeah. I mean, there's the thing. We go on. I mean,
see, like, some of the stuff that I love about the game, may, like, only be exciting for you for like 2 minutes. But, like, for example, last time we played, we did Marvel characters and the Stranger Things kids, and so, like, that was our theme. Like, we had one person as Batman. I think there was, like, a Wonder Woman character, and then we were all the Stranger Things characters. Like, we do, like, that whole little theme, like, and we're just, because what's great about Zombicide, especially if you back on a Kickstarter, you get so many exclusive stuff where they literally rip from popular shows, copy and paste, and just give it a different name. So instead of 11, it's Slevin, right? And so, like, we have fun with that. Where for you, I feel like you have more fun winning the game, just like, let's just win it. Or we're silly.
Right. I mean, I like the game. It's just like what you should be doing is, I mean, the game, I feel like, plays itself almost. And then you roll the dice. Right? So.
It's fun, man.
Yeah. I mean, I like some games like that. But, good times. What else did we play? Oh, I can talk about the interviews I did.
Did you play Wacky Races real quick?
I didn't actually get a chance to play Wacky Races. I got a copy that we're going to have in the office. Maybe we'll get to play that on a testing Tuesday soon, or maybe Tom will be looking at that. But yeah, I haven't actually got to play it. It looks interesting, but I haven't played it yet.
Okay.
One thing I am extremely excited about, I had an interview I interviewed Eric Lang about their new game that's going to be coming to Kickstarter soon, which is Trudvang. It is basically a story game. It's a game that they said is, like, extremely experimental. That's going to be something like branching out and different for Cmon, and it's going to be like a scenario-based, like, story game with, like, set in, like, these different, like, Celtic urban legends and things like that, and Norse urban legends sort of stuff. But it looks really cool. It's got cool miniatures, but it's also got tons of cards where you're just going to be going from, like, location to location, fulfilling, like, these different cards and doing different, like, checks and working on different things and having combats. Like, the system itself is going to be run from, like, a token bag. So you're going to have your character, and you're going to, like, they're going to have different stats, and there's going to be all these runes in a bag, and you're going to be drawing out of that, and it's going to be press your luck. So, hey, I need a certain number of successes to be able to beat this. You can draw a thing out of the bag. Okay, it's one of the ones I need. You can draw one out of the bag. Oh, no, it's a bad one. Nothing bad happens yet. But if you draw too many bad ones out of the bag, then you're not going to be able to succeed as much as, or it's going to fail completely. But if you draw enough good ones out of the bag, then you'll be able to succeed on different levels. And it seems really interesting. I really wanted a chance to play the game, but Eric Lang was too tired to play it with me and Sam. Come on, Eric.
Unbelievable.
I know, right? But it looks really cool, and it's probably it's like on my most anticipated list now, and I'm definitely gonna have my eyes on it when the Kickstarter comes out because I'm a huge fan.
So if it is a Kickstarter, they're talking about next year.
He did not say. I said at the end of the interview, I'm like, all right, well, this is going to be coming to Kickstarter soon. # coming soon. And then Eric Lane goes, # coming. And I'm like, okay, does that mean not soon? Eric's so like quick-witted with that stuff half the time. But I didn't even catch it like when it happened. And then like when I'm editing the interview later, I'm just like, nice, Eric, nice. But yeah, so I'm thinking it's going to be, the Kickstarter's going to be coming this year at some point. But it's definitely one that I'm going to be like, I hope it does really good because I really enjoy the way that the miniatures look already. And I love story-driven games. And yeah. I think, I mean, scenario games are hard to get to the table, but it's really cool because like different things happen on the board and you tuck these cards into the board and they stay, like the board is that way when you play the game from then on, like in the future scenarios, because you've affected the board in certain ways. And there's just going to be tons and tons of scenario cards and different events and different things that can happen that affect the landscape of the board itself. And you can carry that on, but it's not actually a legacy game because you don't actually rip anything up or tear anything up. You can reset the game at any time and start over. So I'm definitely excited to learn more / get my hands on / whatever I have to do because that's one of the games I'm actually interested in trying to maybe look at backing.
Yeah.
So Trudvang.
Trudvang.
It's based off of a role-playing game IP, but it's set in like Celtic lore and fiction and myths and things like that. And it looks really cool.
Did he at all mention anything about the next in his whole Rising Sun Blood Rage series or anything like that? Or were you able to
he
talk
mentioned
about
that they're not talking about it yet. It's basically what he mentioned. And I said...
Sounds like you're not working on it.
No, he's working on it. He definitely... I feel like we might...
But he's taken over a lot of, like, responsibility.
Right. Yeah. I feel like we're going to hear about it later on this year.
Okay. Because, like,
it was like Africa or India or even Asia.
Yeah, I didn't ask him that specific question. But if I did, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you. But I did not, so I don't know.
You could tell us, just not the people in the show.
Yeah. Let me text him real quick.
I'm just saying though, like, I understand we can't reveal everything on this podcast, but if you were to hear something like that and you were to not tell us, there would be this would be my last show. Like just being straight up. Like if you knew something like that, and I understand like I said, we can't tell everybody, I would have been like, all right, and guys, that was my last episode with Epic Gaming Night. It's been a lot of fun. Roy, screw you, and I'll see y'all later.
And then I announce it on the next episode.
And that's fine. I'm still done.
Now that Rob's gone, guys.
Hey, you know what? If I left, the show would probably do a lot better.
Whatever. What was I going to say? But I did talk to Michael about the Game of Thrones stuff, and mostly, it was basically what you said before. They announced the Baratheons. They announced that they updated a whole bunch of the units. Yes. I guess they updated it in the app and changed a bunch of different stuff. A lot of the units in the game that they didn't see getting played, they buffed them a little bit to try to make them a little bit better because they wanted to see more of the characters getting played that weren't necessarily as good. And they've, I guess, apparently have an app for all of that stuff, and it's all already updated in the app.
The companion app. It actually really is a great app.
And then, of course, they added the Baratheons with Stannis and all that stuff.
And Renly.
So you can choose to be Stannis or Renly and all that stuff. And different people, or you take different units based off the person that you pick. And he was shocked by how many people really wanted to play Baratheons and how many people love Baratheons.
Yeah.
Because he's like, Stannis, he just loses every battle he gets in. I'm like, and he makes questionable decisions. In the interview, I really want to be like, do you get extra points if you burn your child? But no.
That would be kind of funny.
No, it wouldn't. It's terrible and sad.
I mean, that's terrible, but I mean, it would be funny if they put that in there. I don't think that's in there though with the books yet. I don't
Okay,
think.
good.
The
Well,
books
maybe he doesn't do it, and maybe he's not as terrible of a character.
Yeah,
What was I gonna say? But
I'm enjoying this so far. Keep Rob on the show. Love that.
nice.
Sorry.
But yeah, and then the Targaryen stuff looked cool because he talked about dragons.
Bro, and he also said that there's going to be different levels of dragons, like
different
adolescent,
ages.
different ages. So like season 2 dragons compared to like season 4 to like seasons 6, 7, and 8, like where they get big and stuff like that. So, but another thing that's really cool, they have to approve everything through George R.R. Martin in his camp. And so that was one of the things that I really like. You hear them say that, like a lot of companies, like, oh yeah, like yeah, we're with so and so, but I don't know if they really do it. But you remember the guy in the show that gave Daenerys the eggs, like the big fat guy, housing all them at the very beginning, like, oh, here you go, blah blah blah. He kept in the interview they talked about how George kept sending him back because he's going to be in NCU. They kept sending him back and saying, no, make him fatter. No, make him fatter. Like, according to the book, he's like the fattest man on the planet. And it was like 3 times they had to send that character to George's camp. And he finally was like fat enough. And they're like, no, you don't get it. He's this fat. And they're like, okay. And they'll make him a little bit, no, guys, you don't get it. And so I just thought that was kind of funny.
What was I going to say? I did tell him, I was like, hey, man, I was like, well, hopefully he'll write more books or whatever so that way you guys can make more characters and stuff. I was like, maybe if you weren't bugging him so much about all these characters, he could finish up his book. And he's like, yeah, it's totally our fault. Like, I didn't say this in the interview, but this is afterwards. He's like, yeah, it's totally our fault that George R.R. Martin isn't finishing up his book. And I'm like, well, it can't be helping.
Well, he actually already made the announcement that he expects the next book to come out before the end of next year. And if it doesn't, he's given fans and like his production team the rights to put him in prison until like he gets it out. Like it's supposedly coming. So we're gonna see. I also like ribs. For those that are talking about that in the chat, ribs are delicious.
Nice.
But yeah, anything else from Cmon? Because I've got a couple of questions for you for Dice Tower Con.
No, I mean they had that cool giant gizmos thing that looked really cool. I didn't actually get to play it, but
yeah,
that was awesome. As far like, what did you think about? I know you didn't do a whole lot besides the Song of Ice and Fire. What did you think about the con like this year or the Expo?
I actually really liked it.
You liked it?
I like the way that it was set up. Remember, the last one I went to was 2 years ago.
Gotcha.
And all you could play was Cmon games. They didn't have anything else.
Well, it's pretty much that way this year.
Well, no, you could play other games. They didn't ask other people to leave. I saw people playing non-Cmon games, and they weren't asked to leave or put them away.
Right. But all they had in the library this year was Cmon games again.
But it's
the year before they
Expo.
Put other stuff in there. So.
Yeah, but see, I don't feel so bad about that because, like, Dice Tower Con, it's a con for people to play games.
Right.
This is Cmon's, like, look, we're putting our best foot forward for business purposes, for con purposes. Like, this whole convention is for us to show what we can and can't do type of a thing. So, like, I don't feel bad. Like, if it was RobCon, you better believe every single game would be whatever I created because I want people to play my stuff. So, like, I don't feel too bad about that, but I like the way that they structured the room and the store and everything a little bit better.
They didn't have any painting area this time.
They may have just downstairs because, like, on the whole panel floor, there's a whole quiet section.
No, there wasn't any painting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't go for the painting, so like I don't.
Right. I thought the painting stuff was cool, and when they had those paint and takes, the store was kind of interesting. They didn't have like the ticket thing like they normally have. Where you could get like the promos and things like that. We've lost Rob.
Oh. Yeah.
The painting gods got after him. He said he doesn't do painting, and then it just cut him. Maybe he went to go eat some ribs. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I mean, me and you were talking about that before the show started. Like, I didn't even go, but I had read a lot of stuff online about like how people were upset that the store was just didn't have but like 4 games in it, and that was all you could buy. You know.
I mean, they had Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the moneymaker.
I mean,
It's like
is it
I
though?
don't know.
Is it though?
What's the moneymaker?
Matt said Song of Ice and Fire is the moneymaker, and I said, is it
Hey,
though?
hey, Roy, I think you would be shocked if they were to talk the numbers with you. The Facebook group that started late last year is over 5,000 members strong. And like when people make orders, they're not ordering a little box or two. They're ordering like
That's
10
good.
strong. Like they're making a ton of units. Like there's a guy who just posted today. He was like, "Yeah, man, I got my Cmon stuff back for me." He had like 4 boxes of the same unit. He had 3
I guess
free
that's the good
folk
thing about
boxes.
miniatures games is people they
Yeah,
purchase the same SKU over and over and over again if they want a bunch of that unit.
yeah.
Whereas like a board game, like one person's only going to buy that expansion once. But with a miniatures game, someone will like, holy smokes, I want a whole bunch of that cavalry unit or whatever. They'll be like, let me buy it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. Well,
So,
man, now I'm upset because um I have the Night's Watch and I only have one of their starter sets, but they just released this new group of the Night's Watch,
uh-huh.
this new little box is called this conscripts, and I don't care for the conscript unit, but I care for that little card that comes exclusively with the conscript unit. And that card does some like really amazing things, and so but you have to get the box to get the card. I like that card better than I like the Night's Watch Captains. I can't remember the name of. Give me 1 second. I'll pull up the app, the Cmon app, which that I hate Cmon. I'm not going to say Cmon. Even if they come on the show, I'm just gonna be like Cmon. What's up, guys?
Thanks for coming on the show, Cmon.
Cmon. Yeah. There's this new card. Is it the Watch Recruiter? Yes.
So you're going to try to play every faction in this game?
I want to play. I have so far. I have every faction. So far, I have them all.
Yeah.
But I like the game. I like how simple it is. I like it a lot better than Rune Wars. But I also feel like it's more difficult than Rune Wars. The thing that I liked about Rune Wars is a lot of what you liked on the planning and the stuff like that,
Yeah.
of like guessing what your opponents can do. But I hated the move management in the Rune Wars. I did not like X-Wing style moves. Like
Yeah.
it was fun to try to line up and hopefully you guess right, but you only have 8 rounds and you could literally spend half of your time hoping you plane up for one hit. And then if you miss, especially with like the rock columns, they're pretty much useless the entire game, which is such a waste.
It does feel good, though, when you do it right and like just do it the movement better than your opponent.
Yeah, but
Or when somebody else
you are
just
literally
like,
hoping to line up off of X-Wing stuff. I
well, I
think
mean,
what
the
they
more you
did
did it,
is
the
they
better you
ordered
got
way
at
too
it. But
many
yeah,
X-Wing rulers, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, we can use this for this."
they
game.
weren't the same. Come on. But yeah,
Um,
it did help if you played more X-Wing.
Yeah, so I didn't like that. I like, oh, there's a bad guy there. Let me turn and go fight that bad guy rather than having to do this
Yeah.
whole turn marker thing. Like my unit to turn left is not going to go up 2 inches and then slowly turn left. No, they're just gonna everybody turn left and go that way.
Yeah.
Like to me that makes sense. So
and
anyway,
then fail their morale checks and I'll run away.
oh bro, that was brutal. But see, then I played like a team against the Starks. Speaking of the third round, the very first roll against me, I lost 8 units to a panic test. So your tray has 12. I lost 2/3 of my tray because of one panic test.
That's disgusting.
Because when like Cersei gets that one part on the board
Was
where
this
it's
when
like,
y'all
hey,
were actually following the rules right? Or was this with
yeah,
your...
yeah, this is the third round. The guy in his very first turn put his NCU, which is non-combat unit, on the board, and he did that one piece where it says, "Hey, you can draw a card, but then also have your enemy conduct a panic test." And I rolled Snake Eyes, and I lost 8 units right off, and it was great.
Yeah, I bet it feels bad, man.
Yeah.
How did you do
So
in your last game or whatever?
that was the last game. that third game where I lost 8. That was my.
So how many games did you win?
I didn't win a single game.
Did you kill trays?
In the second game, in the first game, I didn't kill a single tray because I kept losing my stuff just because of the dead bodies. And so by the time I engaged with him, I was down to 1 row.
But the entire game was a wash, right? Basically, because
Yeah, pretty much.
the rules
But they
right.
gave him the win and the victory points, and so he actually made it into the top 4. And then the
Mad
final
space.
game.
Mad hacks. Mad hacks.
Oh, bro, I was pissed.
The company that made the game's like, yeah, I got the rules wrong, but whatever. We don't really care enough.
Well, here's the thing. Like, they asked me, they were like, hey, so what do you guys want to do about it? And we were playing a tournament, and it was timed, and this tournament was full. And so I was like, you know what? I don't want to make it a big deal. I don't want to have to, like, us start all over for all this stuff. I was already rolling bad anyway, and so I was already upset because I was rolling bad. So I was like, you know what? Just give it to him. Like, it would have changed some stuff, yes, but still, I don't feel like that's fair to whatever. So just move forward. Now, if I was rolling hot, rolling good, I'd have been like, bro, we're starting over right now. We're starting over right now. Because the swag bags they gave for first and second place, you know what they gave away for first place?
What?
1 copy of everything.
Okay.
And I mean everything. That's every expansion box, every starter set, 1 copy. It was like a $300 or $400 bundle.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
It was probably close to $250 to $300 if I think about it. But yeah, you had Stark Heroes 1, Stark Heroes 2, Lannister Heroes 1, Lannister Heroes 2, the guards, the knights, the bowmen, the pyromancers, the great umber axes, the conscripts, the free folk, the spear wives, the free folk starter set, Night's Watch starter set. I mean, you got everything except for the Starks and Lannisters starter set because that came in a swag bag. But you got 1 copy of everything.
Nice.
And so it was just and then second place got 1 copy of everything and only 1 starter set. No, they didn't get any of the starter sets, but they got 1 copy of every extra, like those little $30 boxes. They got 1 copy of all those. So just no starter sets. But still, it's just like, oh my gosh, like
that's a lot.
Just second place alone is like $150 to $200 something dollars because there's like 6 to 10, and so like let's just say you do 10 at $30 a piece. That's $300 right there.
Yeah, and how many people were even in these tournaments?
They were. I mean, our one in the afternoon was sold out.
I mean, how many people though?
I want to say it wasn't that many actually on Friday. Saturday was the bigger tournament day. There was only 12. They only had spots for 12 on Friday, but Saturday I think they were running like 24 deep because they were doing like all of the mats and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
So, anyway.
Nice.
Oh man, it's fun. You know, a miraculously rich raspberry rib rub. I don't know if I'd like that, but I'd try it.
You don't like raspberries?
No, like if I'm eating my meat and stuff like that, I don't want the rub necessarily to be sweet. If I want anything to be sweet, I'm more of like a Memphis, or not Memphis, like Kansas City barbecue guy where like I like the sauce. Like put a nice rub on there, but I'm gonna douse mine with sauce. And so, but I think like if I had like a spicy rub on there, like a garlicky spicy rub, and then I could put like a sweet spice type of a sauce on it, that would be actually really delicious. But I'd try it.
Nice.
Anyway, sorry. I'm talking to chat for those that are listening.
Yeah, they've been talking about ribs and rubs and robs.
Yeah, because one guy like a while ago typed my name wrong. He said rib, and then everyone's like, "Oh, ribs! You need to come here and get these ribs. You do these ribs, Rob. Oh, let's do a rib rub, Rob. Rob's rib rants. #1 like ribs. Yeah, just all this ribs.
And they're trying to get you to do a top 100 list of your favorite ribs.
Of my favorite ribs or games?
I'm just kidding.
I've not tried. Yeah.
Top 100 of your favorite rib rubs.
Man, there are some good
Rob's rib rub reviews.
Oh.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
We got the meats. Nice. Awesome. Well, you said you wanted to ask me some things about Dice Tower Con?
Yes, Werewolf Legacy. So I just saw you did your review. Good job.
I'm just gonna steal his copy now. He's got an
that's
extra
awesome.
book. So
I do have the book here if you want it, and I need you to let me know like within the
oh,
next.
did you buy like a new?
No, remember you gave
the
me the
recharge?
book when we got done playing, but I'm about to like throw it away.
Oh,
So let me know if you want me to keep it.
yeah, I don't know. I'll
Over
ask
the
Tom.
weekend, I condensed a lot of my expansions all into the base box and got rid of the extra boxes because I have all these big Kickstarters supposedly eventually coming in, so I had to make room.
Right. I
So
need to figure out what to do about my stuff because I'm running out of space now too, with these Song of Ice and Fire boxes and Batman boxes and all these games.
if you don't want your Song of Ice and Fire, I will take it off of your hands at Dice Tower Con. Are you even going to play it?
Maybe. I mean, I got
You're
miniatures. I got plenty of miniatures games I don't play.
Well, the only one I know of that you have that you don't play is Rune Wars.
Well,
What
now
other
I've been
games?
painting up all these awesome Lord of the Rings miniatures. Did you see my my Witch King on a fell beast?
I did see that.
Rah!
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I like the hobby aspect of miniatures just as much as playing them, I think.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
So, awesome job, Werewolf Legacy. Is it official? Are we doing that as part of our show? And what day?
I have no clue, and I don't know if it's official. Because, Tom
Well,
Vassel's
even if
been
it's
out of
not
the
with the
country
Dice
for
Tower, like
forever.
I don't care if they sponsor it or not. I don't work for them. I just want to know though, like, are we going to play it one night? Because I'm starting to work on the scavenger hunt, and that's going to be like a big part of it. So,
Okay. I'll have to figure it out. I'll be like, yo, Tom, give me that. And maybe he will, maybe he won't. We'll see.
well,
I
mean,
talked
even
to
if
him
he
about it, and
doesn't-
he's like, okay, cool. And that was about it.
well,
So I gotta
even
figure
if he doesn't, us three, we can all chip in to buy a copy,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I just want to know, just figure out if we're playing it or not, and what
Okay.
day.
Yeah, it really depends on how much responsibilities I'm going to have. Because, I mean, I'm going to be working. So we'll see. I mean, I really don't know. That's just the way it
Yeah.
is. I don't have a schedule. I haven't seen any of that stuff. So it's funny because, like, there's still several other cons I go to before that. Not several other. I'm going to Origins, and Tom's going to a con in China before Dice Tower Con. So it's like normally the next con doesn't get completely ironed out until we've done, like, the last one. It's always weird. But, it is what it is. Rob's like, yep.
Cool.
Sorry, I can't be of more help.
Well, you know what, Matt and I, we're gonna have a great con, and we'll see you when we see you.
Yeah.
And we'll Matt and I will do a bunch of stuff, and I'm not worried about it because we'll be playing with Kent and Adam and Courtney and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a good time.
Now let's have an epic gaming night meet up at Giordano's.
Where is
Bro,
that at?
what if we did that pizza place?
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea, man. Adam, can you eat deep dish heart attack pizza?
That one might not be.
Like they may have like a side salad.
Yeah, I know they also have thin crust pizzas too, but the main appeal is,
Hey, I think a pizza meetup, like we can put that on Instagram and I'll just tag Roy in it so everybody like thinks he's gonna be there. Like, oh, he's editing a video. But Matt and I are cool.
I actually have a lot less to do at Origins than I have to do at Dice Tower Con. So,
Oh no.
So I'm going to Origins, and it's going to be me and Z hanging out, shooting videos, and networking with publishers mostly, and just doing whatever.
Yeah.
But and just hanging out to be there. But at Dice Tower Con, I have to run all the shows, so
Well, the reason why I ask is I have some personal stuff going on in Florida as well,
gotcha.
and so I need to know what nights are free because I may be
Most
doing
likely
some.
Saturday is the best day. I don't know what, because I think there's like nothing planned for like the show things, because I think all that stuff's going on earlier in the week. So,
Okay,
like if that's at all possible.
I'll eat some water and salad. Yes, you will, Adam, and you will have a great time, sir.
Whatever we need Emerson to come to and then draw on a prototype there. But I don't know if he's doing Dice Starcon. So
We'll tell you if he comes. Don't worry about it. We'll tell you. We'll take pictures. We got your back.
Okay.
So. All right. Well, that's all I've got. I'm done.
Okay then.
Do you have anything else?
Do you have any questions about any of the Cmon stuff, Matt, or any of the other things?
Nah, not really. I will say there was a game I forgot to mention that I played. I played Robo Rally, but the new version.
Oh, interesting. Had you played the old version before?
Yeah, I played your copy. And man, let me tell you, when people were like, "Hey, the component quality in the new one is not great," I was like, "How bad can it be?" And not great is exactly how I would describe it. It's not all bad, but there's just like certain components that you would want to be like a thicker quality cardboard that are functionally paper, and you're like, okay, that's cool. I
that's
guess.
what I heard about of a lot of the other stuff too.
But on the upside, I got mine for like $7 on clearance, so I could just spend whatever else I would have in a normal copy to just get better quality component bits.
Right.
But yeah, it was good fun. It was me, AJ, and Ryan played it, and Ryan had to leave because he drove his bike and a rainstorm was coming. But you know, it was just good nonsense.
Yeah.
Changed some of the rules from the one I played with you. Because that one, it removes programming slots. You basically play a random one out when you take damage, and this one gives you a card, kind of like a wound in Legendary, that acts as like a thing for a random card off the top of the deck.
Oh, weird.
So you can decide where to put it, and if you want to play it at all, or if you don't. But otherwise, it just sort of clogs your hand up like wounds do in Legendary. It's interesting. Still good fun, though.
Hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to do, Matt, you're talking about like upgrading stuff. I want to take my old, since I like rebacked the new Run Fighter die, I got all those minis for the old Run Fighter die. I want to put those zombie minis in my Dead of Winter. So like those could be my zombies that.
Okay, that would be awesome. Did you get the new Run Fighter die in yet, or?
Bro, no. Kickstarted to me for some reason. Like, nothing has. Everything was delayed, and nothing has come in.
Batman does launch tomorrow.
I don't need to hear that, man. That's.
Well, I need to figure out what I'm gonna do. I need to figure out what all is gonna be new and if they're gonna add a bunch of different stuff to it or not, and be like, do I care? Because there's so much stuff already, and I've of course only played the game once, so who knows?
Hey Kent, you're still listening? Did you get Batman? If you're still listening, type in the chat.
He did. We were talking about it at the game too.
Yeah, because he was talking about how terrible the rule book was and stuff, which is what everybody said. So
is the rule book that bad?
There's a whole bunch of icons that are hard to distinguish from each other that have a whole bunch of like different special abilities that they give your characters, and like just the way it's laid out is terrible. If you've played Conan before, it makes it a lot easier, but I feel for anybody that would go into that game knowing nothing about like Conan or anything like that. That'd be super.
You know nothing, Roy Kennedy.
There was a guy dressed as Jon Snow, and I was like, Psh, that guy knows nothing. And
Sam's he was in the Cmon tournament.
And I told Sam, I was like, oh, that guy knows nothing. And Sam's like, that's kind of rude. And I'm like, no, it's the show. He's like, I don't watch that show. I'm like, get out of here. Anyway, okay, so I did want to talk again about the game hall from we wanted to give a lot of people chances to enter to get it. I know we talked about it on an episode a while back, but we missed last week. So if anybody wants to enter our contest for the Tiny Epic Game Hall, make sure to take a picture of a Tiny Epic game, or take a picture of your Tiny Epic collection, or a picture of you holding a Tiny Epic game, whatever you want to do, a Gameling game. You could even be giant epic and hold Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, but just use the hashtag in whatever picture you want, saying Tiny Epic Gaming Night. Hashtag Tiny Epic Gaming Night, and I'm going to randomly select one of those after we've given enough people a chance to enter into that. I think your odds are pretty good right now. I haven't seen too many posts. So, hey, if you want to get a Tiny Epic Game Haul, if you have a whole bunch of Tiny Epic games, make sure to hit that up. And I'll be looking to... We'll probably announce that next week. So get in there and get it done. So that way I can ship this thing out before I leave for Origins. Yeah. Well, awesome, everybody. I think this has been a good podcast. We'll see you guys back next week. If you want to check us out, we stream these Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time at youtube.com/Epic Gaming Night. Make sure to check us out there. Join us in chat with all of our lovely people talking about Rob's Rib Rub reviews. And maybe next time we should eat ribs on the show. Who knows?
Bro, we've been kind of lacking on some of the cool stuff. We need to do some cool stuff again.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Been slammed. But yeah, also make sure to check us out on Patreon. Thanks for all of our supporters who help us continue the show, keep paying all the bills for all the different things. You guys are awesome. If you want to check that out, check it out at patreon.com/Epic Gaming Night. Make sure to hit us up at Dice Tower Con. Like Rob said, it's only like a month away. So I will make time to say hi and hopefully play games with people and all that stuff. I will be playing games with people. That's part of my goal, is to play games with people. But, it'll be fun.
Are they just saying all that stuff now in chat as like a tongue twister? Rob's Rib Roaring Rib Rub Review Rundown. What?
That's awesome.
Did you say that?
Rob's Rib Roaring Rib Rub Review Rundown.
What?
Rob runs through rib reviews.
Oh, God.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's so good.
It is so good.
Ooh.
Rob's Rib Roaring Rib Rub Review Rundown. Man.
That's awesome. Awesome, Kent.
Saying it. Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll see all you guys on the next one.
See you guys. And I'll see you guys in about a month.
Peace.
Mwah.